Hey everybody, Mike from Spectre Comics, and today I'm doing the Mandalorian speed draw video that I mentioned wanting to do last time I did a speed draw video, which was on K2SO from Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. That video is linked in the description below if you haven't seen it, so go ahead and check it out. I'm very excited as the Mandalorian Season 2 is about 6 weeks away. I think it premieres October 30th, 2020. They're also filming Season 3 back-to-back with it, so hopefully that's not too far behind. But it is mid-September when we're filming this video, so that show is going to be here before we know it. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel for more drawing and comic videos like this one. I'm drawing on a Wacom Cintiq 13 HD tablet and using Photoshop Elements 2019 for this video. Now, I was recently watching a video from Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and she was doing a drawing tutorial on C-3PO. And she mostly does just like talking head videos where she rants and talks about Star Wars and Marvel and DC movies and comics and characters. And I didn't realize she was an artist, and I'm glad she's doing art videos on her channel. Anyway, the C-3PO video was very well done, and she was drawing on paper, doing pencil, paper, inking, and it made me think, all my videos are on a tablet. I would like to do some videos where I'm actually drawing on paper with a pencil. I mostly do screen capture art videos because it's easy to just draw right on my tablet and just upload and edit the videos and then add voiceover, but there's just a different quality to drawing on paper. So I appreciated that on Anna's art video. I may start sprinkling in some paper and pencil drawing videos here and there if I can figure out a clean way to capture the drawing. I haven't liked previous videos where I did try to capture the hand drawing. Either my hands are blocking the camera or the lighting is bad and it casts odd shadows and it's just hard to see. So if I can think of a good way to capture my art with hand drawing. I think I did this on my How to Draw a Minion video with paper, pencil, and colored pencils. But again, I thought the lighting was bad. I'll link that video in the description as well, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're approaching the Mandalorian a little differently than I've in some of my other tutorials where I'm talking about how I'm drawing stuff. I usually start with a skeleton to kind of map out the pose. You can see that in a lot of my How to Draw videos. But because this is kind of a shoulder and head shot with just a hand, instead of kind of mapping it out, I'm just scribbling the larger shapes and kind of filling it in. So we are doing an underlay, like a half-tone underlay to kind of map out where the body parts are, but it's not the full skeleton. And using multiple layers, really sketchy, really loose drawing and inking. I actually drew the whole head, sketched it all out, and realized I drew it completely wrong. I restarted the whole thing because I was using a very blurry picture as a reference, and I realized that I was not getting the helmet correct. And so I went back and redraw it and resketched it, and then I was moving pieces around. Like the dome was too flat, so I slid it up, and I drew the visor incorrectly, and I wasn't drawing it so that it wrapped around the helmet clear enough. So it was just nice to go back, again, with the tablet, very easy to go back and just edit and fix and copy something over and try it again. That's the nice thing about drawing on a tablet, but very limiting on pencil and paper. Being able to use the polygonal marquee tool to draw straight lines, or to create a straight line and fill it in with the paint bucket, also helpful. So, there's positives and negatives to both drawing on the tablet and drawing on paper. Going all the way back to 1980 when The Empire Strikes Back was released, which is my favorite Star Wars movie, we were introduced to Boba Fett on the big screen. And I think he was introduced in the infamous 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special, which I'm sure I've seen at some point, but I can't remember a thing about it other than clips I've seen on YouTube. I loved the character of Boba Fett, though. I remember the packages of Star Wars figures at the time had an offer that if you collected a bunch of UPC symbols from purchasing Star Wars toys, you can mail in for a free Boba Fett action figure with a launching rocket on his jetpack. I'm sure I tried to mail in for that character, but I don't think it was ever released because parents were fearing that children would start choking on the little rocket that got shot out. But it was a big deal at the time. The packages, I think they had the packages made, but once they decided not to ship that figure out, I think they put a sticker over it. So if you peeled the sticker off, it would like rip. It was so sticky that it would rip the paper and you could never see what that image was. Boba Fett introduced us to the Mandalorians because he wore Mandalorian armor. And we found out in the prequels that he was the son of Jango Fett, who also wore Mandalorian armor, though I don't think he was actually a Mandalorian. I think he was just a mercenary wearing the Mandalorian armor. As the Clone Wars stories started to get told, a lot of different Star Wars series unfolded, we got to know a little bit more about the Mandalorians and their creed. Now we have this great show on Disney Plus. I love this show. I think Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have done a great job creating this Star Wars world that feels like the original Star Wars film. I love the nods to the original trilogy. Visiting Mos Eisley, stepping into the cantina again was awesome. Seeing a bounty frozen in carbonite for transport to the Bounty Hunters Guild was really cool. Seeing Jawas and Sandcrawler on a sandy world. And then Boba Fett was hinted at coming back and returning after crawling out of the Sarlacc pit. There was always in the expanded universe that he didn't die in the Sarlacc and Return of the Jedi, but that he actually climbed out and somehow escaped. This sort of canonizes it in the new Disney Star Wars that he's going to return. He's supposed to be in season 2. We got to see his legs for a short minute, rattling of his spurs on his boots in one of the episodes to kind of hint, hey, this is Boba Fett returning. One of the cool things I always liked about Boba Fett was his ship, Slave One. It was a really cool ship. I'm pretty sure I have that toy in a box somewhere in my basement. Mando ship, the Razor Crest, is also a really neat ship. I felt really bad when the Jawas scrapped it for parts in episode 2 of The Mandalorian. The whole episode was about getting his parts back so he could leave the planet with Baby Yoda. And then, yes, there's Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda was a huge surprise in episode 1. Some people think he's a gimmick and didn't like it. You know, maybe casting too much reference to the old Star Wars movies. But I like the character. I think he's pretty neat. You really feel the tension in the show with Mando trying to protect him all the time. The way they are writing the show makes it feel like he's a permanent character and not just a gimmick, not just a motivation for the Mandalorian. All the characters are great in the show. Cara Dune, played by Gina Carano, and Greef Karga, played by Carl Weathers. Really awesome characters. And I like how you don't really know if the characters are good or bad. They keep kind of switching sides. This cast is really great. The show is really great. The way they film it is pretty amazing. They're not using the green screens like a lot of the other Star Wars movies use. They're actually using digital screens. I don't know if you've watched any of the gallery, which is the behind the scenes kind of episodes that about the Mandalorian getting created. It's just really cool the way they filmed it. Like, they'll have an actual ship on a set, but they'll project on the digital screens, outer space. After I finished this drawing, I realized I actually made a huge mistake in the helmet. You may notice at the end of this video, it didn't make the correction I did to fix the helmet didn't actually make it into the video. But if you go to the very end of the video and look at the drawing, you might notice the way that the cheeks go in. I changed it to make it more correct. I found a clearer image, close-up of the Mandalorian helmet, and realized I drew a couple of angles incorrect, so I went ahead and fixed them. One thing missing that I really like on Boba Fett's helmet that the Mandalorian doesn't have is the little scope that rises up off his helmet. I kind of think that's just a cool little antenna feature that the Mandalorian doesn't have. But the Mandalorian's armor, once he gets his armor's made from the Beskar steel that he gets from the bounty from returning Baby Yoda to the client. So he ends up taking the Beskar steel, melting it down, and having some new battle armor forged. I actually like at the end when he gets his jetpack and how the jetpack works and how they have to learn how to control it. So that was kind of cool as well. And I'm also glad that they talked about how he became a Mandalorian, that he was saved by the Mandalorians when his planet was attacked and his parents were killed. So that was a nice touch to the story that just kind of really made you understand why he was so devoted to the Mandalorian. When I really started to get into the detailing of this and kind of cleaning it up, adding the little lines, I went down to a really small pixel. I started with a very wide pixel. I think I was drawing at 14 or 15 pixels when I was just doing the quick sketches to line up the character and kind of draw them, to get them all kind of blocked out. So I know where the head was in relation to the shoulder and the arms, and the hand was sticking up. I was using a very thick pen setting, but then as I started getting into the detail, I moved down to a 4-pixel brush, and I was actually using the pen tool instead of the brush tool, because the brush is very scattered, and I didn't want I don't like all the fuzzy lines. When I'm drawing solid, I'd like to draw solid. And just to complete the drawing and add a little texture to the background, I found the Mandalorian insignia online. I just did a quick line sketch of the insignia. I filled it in with black and then turned the opacity down to about 50% so it becomes a light gray. I did a quick white underlay screen under the Mandalorian line work just so that it would hide the overlap of the logo in the background. The drawing is complete. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any other ideas for speed draws. I'm actually going to do a color version of this. We're going to do a how to color tutorial in a future video, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. Give the video a thumbs up, helps out the channel, and have a great day. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.